Today I'm going to show you how to make almond flour banana bread. It is the most popular recipe on my website and it is super delicious. It is moist and made with almond flour, gluten-free, refined sugar-free, dairy-free, and you can make it with your sweetener of choice. Let's do it.
We start with preheating the oven to traditional for baking quick breads 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Then grab a large bowl and add bananas. I'm using super scary looking overripened brown bananas that I have froze, and now I thawed them and they're perfect. So use the liquid as well and remove those tips that fall into the bowl. If you're using fresh bananas, you want your bananas to be very yellow with a lot of brown spots. Please don't use scary to think 50 shades of green bananas. Your almond flour banana bread will not work. Now grab a potato masher or a fork and mash your bananas. It is very important for this recipe to grab a measuring cup and measure out exactly amount of mashed bananas as per recipes. And if you have any extra, you can just eat it, but don't use it because your bread will be wet and soggy. Then we're going to add eggs, and I have to say that I have tried this recipe with flax eggs and it works. Also amazing, you can use any sweetener. I have tried both xylitol and sugar, and liquid sweetener like maple syrup is my favorite. You can also use honey. Then we're adding oil. My oil of choice is avocado oil, but you can use any mild tasting oil like grapeseed oil, melted coconut oil, etc. Then we're adding some seasonings like vanilla extract and baking staples, baking powder and baking soda and salt. And here I'm using masher to combine everything, and it kind of worked, but at the end I saw little lumps of baking powder and baking soda, and you don't want that because if you don't mix them, your bread will not rise properly. So I went ahead and grabbed a traditional whisk and I gave it a little bit more whisk to combine everything evenly. You can also make separately in two bowls. Add your liquid ingredients and dry, but honestly, my method works for years. You will need super fine blanched almond flour. You can go ahead with a cup and dig in and scoop almond flour like that, or take traditionally tablespoon and scoop it into your cup and level the top. Make sure to level the top. Now give it a good stir. Beauty of almond flour is you don't have to worry about over mixing like with regular wheat flour because there is no gluten. So that brings me to the fact that you have to use only almond flour and no other flour. Possibly it will work with almond meal, but it's not going to be as nice and fluffy, but it should work. As for the pan, I highly recommend to use metal pan for baking this banana bread because it bakes it the best and the bread doesn't come out soggy. You can either line it with parchment paper and spray with cooking spray, or you can leave it unlined. Then I recommend to spray only the bottom and up to 1 inch of the sides. Transfer it into a loaf pan and you want to level it evenly with spatula because there is not a lot of fat in this quick bread, so you want to make sure it stays smooth on top. You can also sprinkle some walnuts or chocolate chips if you wish. Now let's bake it. Oven temperature is 350 and I place it on the middle rack because my oven runs hotter. You know your oven best. I'm baking it for 50 minutes, but you might have to bake it for 60 minutes. If you notice it is burning, just cover it with a piece of parchment paper. Rule of thumb is bake it until the toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. That's when your bread is ready. This is a standard test for all quick breads. It means it's not soggy inside. Look at this beauty. It looks absolutely perfect and smooth on top. And you want to let it cool off for 10 minutes in the pan and then completely before slicing. Slice it with serrated bread knife and look how beautiful it looks, but make sure to let it cool, otherwise your bread will crumble. Everyone absolutely loves this banana bread. It is healthy enough for breakfast, it's sweet enough for dessert. If you have anyone with gluten sensitivity, it's gluten-free. It's perfect for lunch boxes. Kids don't even know it's made with almond flour. It tastes so delicious. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and make it and share it with me and your friends and family, and see you next time.